Good morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to be learning how to find the area of a triangle and a trapezoid. The first thing we must realize is that triangles are just, let me finish drawing this, are basically just half of a rectangle or a parallelogram. If we remember correctly, the area of a rectangle or parallelogram was base times height. But since we are only looking at half of it to use our triangles, the formula for the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2, since we're only using half. Again, this is the height, this is the base, this is the base, and in this one over here, the height is from its tallest point to the bottom. Now, let me give you an example. If we have our triangle right here with a base of 3 and a height of 8, we know that our area equals base times height divided by 2. That means that after we plug in the values for those variables, we have area equals 3 times 8 divided by 2. 3 times 8 is 24. So our area right now is 24 divided by 2. Once we divide 24 by 2, we find out that the area of this triangle is 12 units squared. Remember, yesterday we learned that whenever we're working with area, our units are going to be square. Now, let's look at another example. We're going to put a height of 6 and a base of 5. That means that our area is equal to base times height divided by 2. Let me make this a little bit nicer. There we go. Once we plug in the values, we have area equals 5 times 6 divided by 2. 5 times 6 is 30. So area equals 30 divided by 2. 30 divided by 2 is 15. So we know that the area for this specific triangle is area equals 15 units square. Okay. Now, for the trapezoid, there's two different ways. The most important way is by finding the formula. Let me first draw a trapezoid. First of all, there are different trapezoids. This is one way of the trapezoid, and the other one, the most common one, is the one where it has the two slants on the sides. Okay, as you can see, the top one does not include the slant to create a sort of like the roof of the house. Well, either way, this one has two bases. The top base, which is base 1, and the bottom, which is base 2. Again, base 1 in the top and base 2 in the bottom. The other important factor is our height. Okay, now for the formula. The formula for a trapezoid states that we're going to have base 1 plus base 2, that means the top and the bottom together, divided by 2. This means that we're getting the average of the two bases. We're going to add them together and then divide it by 2, then multiply that times our height. Let's do an example with the formula. We're going to have, trying to draw with one hand and record with another. Okay, let's make our height equal to 5, and our base 1 will be 10, and our bottom base will be 14. This means that we have 10 plus 14 divided by 2 times 5. This is our area. 10 plus 14 equals 24. So that will give us 24, and put it a little bit closer, 24 divided by 2 times 5. As we work it down, our area equals 24 divided by 2 is 12 times 5 equals 60 units square. Now we will use the same trapezoid to use a different method. This is the preferred method, the one with the formula. Just remember that you add both bases divided by 2 and then multiply times the height. Now the other method, this one's a tricky one because you need to make sure that you decompose the trapezoid into the correct shape. For example, this type of trapezoid can be divided into two triangles and a rectangle. The other type of trapezoid, the one that looks like this, can be separated into one triangle and a rectangle. But since we're already working with this one, the traditional shape that has more shapes put together to create the trapezoid, we're going to continue working with this one. So we remember that our top base was 10. This whole bottom base is 14. And our height was 5. Now, since this height is 5, we know that this height over here is also 5. Now, we're missing this length right here and this length right here. That means that we're missing the base for both triangles. Now, since these two are the same, because they have the same height, and they're represented as the missing side from this part and the missing side from this part, when we get this part right here, well, first of all, we need to find out how long is from this point to this point. We know that from this point to this point is 10, so this length right here will also be 10. Now, when we subtract 14 from 10, we get 4. So 14 minus 10 equals 4. Now, since we are missing two identical bases, we're going to divide that by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. That means that this base right here is 2, and this base over here is 2 as well. Now, we know that we need to find the area of a triangle, we just learned on the other side, and the area of a rectangle. Now, let's start with the area of the triangle. We know that the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. This means that our base is 2 times our height, which is 5, divided by 2. This equals 2 times 5 is 10. We keep the divided by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So the area of this little triangle is 5 units squared. Now, the area of the rectangle is base. Area of rectangle is base times height. The base is 10. Remember, it's not 14. 14 is for the whole thing. It's only this piece in between, which is 10 times our height of 5. 10 times 5 equals 50. So our area equals 50 units square. Now, we're not done yet. We need to add all three areas together. We know that this first area was 5, so we get 5. So the area of trapezoid is equal to 5 plus another 5 for the other triangle plus the 50 from the rectangle. So 5 plus 5 is 10. We bring the 50 down. 10 plus 50 is 60. So we know that the area equals 60 units square. And as you can see, using the same trapezoid in two different methods, one with the formula, one by decomposing the trapezoid into different shapes, we get the same answer: 60 units square, 60 units square. Well, boys and girls, I hope my explanation will help you in today's lesson. Try your best and see you guys soon.